Thank you.
Whoever that was, thank you for that. Yeah, we needed that.
I think you started the recording.
Okay. What I chose tonight was just this topic here is kind of interesting to me. You know, I like little stuff like this. It's a little bit of history as far as generational goes. Just the titles of generations and how they're identified to the world and what categories some of us may fall in depending on the years we were born. I got a little literature to go with it, and then we can open the floor up to just kind of discuss the differences and some of the things we may remember in these times. Okay, so the farthest back that I was able to get to was what they call the lost generation, and that would be anyone, I'm sure these people probably aren't living now, but anyone between 1880 and 1900 that were born. The generation after that was something called the greatest generation. They were people who were born between 1901 to 1924. Moving on a little past that, the next generation after that was the silent generation. These were individuals born between 1925 and 1945. And then you would speed up to something a little more current that some of us can relate to. A lot of these people online were born around this time, obviously were the baby boomers, individuals who were born from 1946 to 1964. Now, this next generation has a lot of stigmatization around it because they broke it down a little further, which I see that I'm a part of this generation here, but widely known as Generation X. From anyone born between 1965 and 1980 are the actual millennials. It's not the 20-somethings that are today. They are Generation Z. Those are the post-millennials. They're born from anywhere between 1997 to 2012. But I am from a generation of what you call X-Zennials. We're people who were born on the cusp. We're a micro-generation that were born on the cusp of Generation X and the millennials in the demographic cohorts between 1977 and 1983. I was born in 77. So that's where you get the Xennial from, Gen X and millennial. That was interesting to me. I didn't realize that. But widely across the board, it will fall under Generation X. My kids are Gen Zs. People were born between 1997 and 2012. They're the post-millennials. And their children, if they had them between these years, would be Generation Alpha, which would be 2013 to 2025. And the reason they chose to go with Alpha, they chose to go with Greek instead of the regular alphabet to title that because you can't repeat A once it's been used already. And they represent the first of the generation of that millennium. So I chose this because it was just interesting to reflect on certain things. Like this generation has some of the best tech in the world. And I joke with my children about this all the time. In my particular household, I try to keep a diversity of both because what us Xennials or Gen X excel at is, again, we were old enough to kind of be on the cusp of both. Like, prime example, most of them do laptops and things and calculators and stuff in classrooms and whatnot now. And I joke with them about this all the time, but if I put a typewriter in front of you, you lost. Our generation knows how to do both, and the ones before us do as well. That's why we can adapt so well, which is awesome. Just like if you go to, let's say you go to the library, the Dewey Decimal System is digital now. But if they ever had an EPF, power shortage or something go out and all the screens go out, and say you got college kids in school, y'all lost in the sauce now because now they don't know how to use the physical Dewey Decimal System or the Encyclopedia Britannicas. You know, I like to have a little bit of both of that. In my home, I still have a tangible physical phone book, and I will use an actual landline while using the cell phone as well. Those landlines still work just like the cell towers do. If something happened and that go out, you can go to any doctor's lawyers, or any business, and anything else. They're not handling business on cell phones. They still have actual landlines and actual fax machines and Xerox copiers, et cetera, et cetera. So I think it's interesting to have a diversity of both. So what I wanted to do was ask some of the people online if they can relate to some of this and what some of the things that you guys remember and the difference between like the tech and just some of the old school days that still work that are useful today as well.
Well, I'm a proud Gen Zer.
There you go.
Or is it Gen X? No, Gen X. Gen X. I'm a proud Gen Xer. I remember taking typing class.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember
in
that.
School.
And home ec.
Well, I didn't take home ec, but I remember taking typing class. But they did have home ec and shop. I remember when the first computers came out in my area, in my parish or county, as you call it, because my father was over the migrant education for our parish school system. And so he got one of the first computers to test out different games and things before they put them into the schools. So I remember the computers. I remember the first video games. You know, we had Atari, and all it did was boop, boop, boop,
right.
And we just knew that was life. That was life, right? That was miracles right there. We could never imagine what video games have turned into now. I just remember growing up more outside.
Right.
We spent more time outside, riding bikes, skating up and down the street, playing with your friends, you know, not coming home until the street light came on. And if it started to blink like it's about to come on, you better be heading home.
Right.
But I just remember it being a more time of just freedom and not as prone to violence in my area that I lived in as it is now. The neighborhood that I live in now is it's almost like it's war torn compared to what it was when I grew up there, being one of the first families on my street, because it was just that new of a neighborhood. But we just played a lot. We played a lot. We laughed a lot. We acted silly, and we didn't really have worries. We weren't really worried about getting shot if I go to the grocery store, or, you know, hanging out with my friends and somebody just decide they want to start fighting, and they don't fight with hands, they fight with guns. You know, I would take trail rides in the woods with my neighbor and ride along the street, and it didn't even matter, along the highway, and it didn't even matter. It was just fun, innocent fun. I miss those times. But yeah, proud Gen Xer here.
Likewise, I reflect on those times a lot too. For us, it was what they called the Reagan years, Reaganomics. It was a little bit different. You know, most of us Gen Xers were latchkey kids. I was a part of that community. And that's why a lot of us like movies and things so much, because the TV was our babysitter a lot of times. You know, you latchkey kid, you come home, you do your homework, you're going to have chores. If you play sports, you got to get you behind the practice and get back. You did all this without being micromanaged, because you usually had two parents that were working, and your television was your babysitter. You know, so we were also we were Disney babies. We were MTV generations. We were Pepsi generation. We were Blockbuster Video generation. We're HBO kids. All of that's us. You know, you figure the last prime example, your average movie now, probably maybe an hour and 20 minutes. For a good one, maybe two hours and 15 minutes. Because the average consumer's attention span is so short, because there's so many other distractions out now, so much other stuff they can do, so much other tech and this, that, and the other. back then, and we'll say your basic, what? We ain't even talking about a good one. Just your basic movie was every bit of, they had larger budgets and stuff then, so they actually unfolded the movie. You had to have patience. They unfolded the movie like you read a novel. You had an introduction. You had to go into your chapter and lead into the story. Your average movie is about 3 hours and 20 minutes, easily. I think that helped with our attention spans, too, to focus a little better on certain things, because that's just, you had to sit through stuff to get to the good part of the stories of things. I remember when you used to be able to call, depending if you were at work or out of town or wherever you were, you used to be able to call. This back when, Betamax and VHS was primo then. You used to be able to call your VCR and set it to record any movie or program or, fights or whatever you wanted to see when you went home. It was the precursor to what TiVo is to these kids now. Well, water was better. You could drink from the water faucet when you were outside, and the street light was your alarm clock. You hit that porch and let that joke come on before you get off in there. It's over.
Yeah, you right.
It's over.
The neighborhood I grew up in, the street lights would start blinking at the bottom.
Yeah, they was on the timer.
And we raced that light. We raced that light back up to the house.
I'm talking about Carl Lewis. You knocking people down to get on that porch. You darken that doorway before that street light come on. After it come on, actually.
We were trying to find out how fast electricity moved.
Exactly. My mom's didn't play, man.
But, I remember being in school, and, everybody's talking about laptops and computers. Well, I can remember when the biggest thing going was an electric typewriter.
That's right.
And I took typing, and we had manual and electric.
That's right.
You was on manuals half of the semester, and then you transfer over to electric the rest of the semester. Well, the thing was, you was trying to stay on that electric typewriter because you could maneuver faster on it than you could on that manual. Because with that manual typewriter, I don't know how many people ever use one, you got to push them keys.
That's right.
It ain't no just barely laying your fingers on them. You got to push them keys.
That Piker and Elite.
You had to do. Yeah, you had to do at least 60 words a minute.
Right, because every 5 spaces is a word.
Goal. And that was a difficult task to do on a manual typewriter, but it was achievable on an electric typewriter. And now it's even past that with a computer. And spell check was that dictionary on the side of your desk.
That's right. And
there was no such thing as it going back and correcting itself. You had to take that little eraser and had to go back there and white it out and come back in with the correct letter.
Right, and this wasn't the tape. This was the liquid whiteout.
Yeah.
Wasn't the little whiteout roll of tape they got now. You had the liquid whiteout, look like nail varnish. You had to put on there, and you had the dictionary and the thesaurus. You had to reference that yourself. Yeah.
And you had to make sure that when you put it back, you had to put it on the same even line so that the words can be even with each other if you done made a mistake.
For real.
Give me a whole flashback.
Man, that used to be heck. That used to be heck on your nerves. If you missed that little line and you say you got about 4 or 5 pages into a term paper or something, man, pull all your hair out, bro.
I have a question.
Don't forget about it.
Okay.
Was the corrector tape before the whiteout? Remember the little thing we had to stick down in there? So you would stick it down.
The whiteout came first.
Yeah, okay. Whiteout was first, I believe. Yeah, whiteout was first, I believe.
But
that correcting
but
stuff
that
was
corrector tape. If you had the corrector tape, you were an upscale class.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And people had a larger budget.
I had an upscale class because I had the corrector tape.
Well, we know
had whiteout.
But don't fool around and the corrected word. And the corrected word had more letters in it. Then you had a lot in it.
They had cappuccinos and stuff for lunch, but you know.
Yeah. We was doing the soybean hamburgers with the pizza.
Yeah, the hot dogs with the corn dogs with no weenies inside.
Yeah, just straight batter on a stick. That's it. Deep fried starch.
I can't relate to that.
Yeah, well, the accelerated class personnel had different menus. You understand? Which also coins the term. Hey, Hamp, which also coins the term teacher pet. A lot of us can relate to teacher's pet. Yeah. I was more an eraser clapper myself. I never made it to the teacher's pet or the dean's list. I was more of an eraser clapper myself. The 100-word writer. That's how I got my penmanship together. Yeah.
Well, this is a Yanni. I guess I'm supposed to be the same generation as y'all, but I feel like a baby boomer.
Yeah. Where you at? What year did you get here? What year were you born?
65.
Okay, so you are Generation X. That's 65 to 1980s is us.
Barely.
You're millennial too.
Oh,
you're millennial too.
I remember all the stuff y'all are talking about, but street light. Man. What's a street light? We had no idea what a street light was. We were in the country when it got dark. If you were outside, you were off somewhere.
What that was, you guys, street light. Your version of it was if you was out past the sunset, or when you hear the crickets or the mosquitoes start tearing you up. That was your street light. You have your behind on that porch or in that door before that happened, or it's real life situations.
But see, our closest neighbor was like a mile away, so I mean, we really had no reason to be out there.
Yeah, y'all had.
So in other words, you went to bed with the owls and woke up with the roosters.
Something like that. Exactly. Exactly. And if you miss bus, don't miss
out there, they'll send you to bed without supper too if you're late. Yeah. You better not. And all of us can remember when the kitchen closed too. After dinner is done and all the dishes washed, don't you step your behind up in there and get nothing. That's a wrap. Kitchen actually shut down like a diner.
Yeah.
You get you a cup of water. You want a glass of water? You get it out the sink and put that cup by your bed or whatever, your nightstand. Well, don't you step your behind up in that kitchen, man. It's over.
May I be heard?
Yes, please. Yes, ma'am.
Yes. My name is Susan. Thank you for. Well, what is the name of the program? I just tuned in. I'm new to the network.
Okay, this is the CCC show, the Conservative Citizens Coalition, and the network is Grown Folks Talking Network, and we do this 8:30 to 10 every Wednesday. But tonight's topic, we were talking about just different generations and kind of remembering some of the pros and cons and the differences from the baby boomers, Generation X, and some of the post millennials, different things that they don't know or do know, or just things from digital phones to telephones to different music, laptops, typewriters. Just sharing some information on that type of stuff.
Okay. Well, I'd like to know what did throwing the sneakers over the bi-wires represent? Do anybody know what that represented?
Yes. What that was, and it's not just tailored to just the hood, or the inner city, we'll say. We ain't going to say the hood. Because it happened in country and stuff, too. I got a lot of cousins that stayed in rural areas that did that. What that was, it was a kind of a rites of passage, almost like when you've outgrown those sneakers, you just threw them up there like you say baseball players hit so many home runs and they'll nail their gloves to the wall or hang your jersey up or whatever. It was just a kind of, an iconography that you would use to just say, okay, boom, I'm past this now. Let me go ahead and throw this up here. It was just a silent understanding that happened in just those communities of people, And the reason you did it on power lines or clotheslines or somewhere up high, it represented you excelling. It's almost like you're ascending to your next, whatever you grew out of, whatever your shoe size was or whatever, that represent. I was in this size for so many ages and inches, and now I've grown that. I've had a growth spurt or whatever. I'm going to another chapter in my life, or I'm hitting puberty or whatever. You threw it up to the highest one that you can hit. So my next pair that I'll grow, you get your little collection up there, and that represents the heights that you're trying to achieve. That's what it was supposed to be, subliminal.
Okay, I'm definitely I'm a baby boomer.
Okay,
and
awesome.
Definitely. So what I remember that we were definitely grounded in church. Church was 3 times a day.
Oh yeah.
Especially on Sunday. You stayed there all day. So I think my generation, we were definitely grounded in church. I mean, you had to belong to a church. I mean, that was like a prerequisite to anything. I remember growing up, and I'm just so happy about my childhood because I was just talking to someone later today about how I would never, ever want to be a teenager or a child of this age because we just had much fun. I remember the basement parties that we used to have. Oh, my goodness. I remember the fire hydrants. When it would get too hot, we would open up the fire hydrants and have a ball.
That's city stuff there. Everybody can't relate to that one. That's city stuff there. I know about that.
Yeah, and I remember all the games we played. I remember. Does anybody remember I'm here on the East Coast, so I'm here in New Jersey. So
no doubt.
I remember the Tops game. Do you remember that board game on the ground, Tops, TOPS, the Tops game?
Yes. My cousins used to play that a lot. They did that, and they did double dutch heavy.
In double dutch, we played 1, 2, 3, red light.
Red light. That's right.
Red light. What else did we?
We did.
I mean,
we did.
So much fun. Who would want to go inside? I mean, you cried when you had to go inside. I mean, the punishment that your mother would give you would be you can't go out and play, and that would kill you. All that would kill you because you don't have all the apparatus that we have today that these kids are entertained. It would be like you could not. Don't tell us we couldn't go. Say what were we going to do inside the house? So I'm thinking about the basement parties, just socializing with your friends. I remember one night we was just sitting on the stoop singing all the old songs and just socializing.
Now.
I mean, everybody knew each other. There was nobody, and everybody was everybody's mama,
That's right.
We did
right.
And we were so respectful. We was even respectful to the winos, and, we were just like, the things that these kids get away with now, you couldn't, they would say, that's what I love about this station, grown folks talking. They would say, there's grown folks talking now. Now, there's grown folks talking now. You're not supposed to talk, okay? But, so I'm thinking of that. And then throughout just growing up, then, as we progress to the 80s, you have our disco era, which was unbelievable, and I just enjoyed my childhood. I enjoyed all that outdoor activity, all that good greenery, getting dirty, getting in the dirt, you know what I mean? Just being thrown down, and real fights. Like when you fought, the guys would fight, they would fight, and it would be over with. As some lady was saying earlier, that you wouldn't be bringing any guns or anything, And sometimes when you fought the individuals, afterwards you guys would become friends later on, So it was never, you want to take someone down as they do today. It's just like crazy. And I don't remember actually when going to discos that we had the detectors. We would go in and just, have a good time. So I tell my daughter, she's 25, I say, girl, you just don't know. You just don't know. Boy, but thank you so much for letting me share that.
Yes, ma'am. You brought back a lot of memories, man. First of all, shout out to Brick City, Jersey. For those that don't know what a stoop is, down south, that's a porch. Up there, they call it a stoop. If you got a patio, it's a terrace. There's different lingos, but the same thing. I remember, like you said, the basement parties used to be just bananas. That was off. And I also remember they used to have whole block parties, like everybody in the neighborhood would come out, like you said, and you got double dutch over here, You got the DJ at the basketball court. There's probably a brother walking around with, a little, depending on what time of year it is, he got a little cart on some wheels where they're selling shaved ices. Somebody probably barbecuing. You got your double Dutch hopscotch, hot peas and butter, all these other little games going on. Old folks got dominoes and spades happening. Everybody is just contributing as a whole. It was fun. It was peaceful. You used to take all of your little canned goods. You get them empty cans, and you will file them down on the pavement, and we use that when you tap into the fire hydrant. You put that on there, and it would angle it to certain areas to make you like a little, a little spray that you can run through and play in the water and whatnot. Because the nearest pool was far from where we lived, or where you was at in your little inner city area. So that is how you cooled off, all of that. I miss all of that. I remember all of that. Roller skating rinks, bowling alleys, man, it was, when you got Thursday, you didn't have to always run in the house. Like you said, you could, back then the water was a little bit safer. You could drink from the water hose, little stuff like that. And then like when mines came along, we had a mixture of both. We didn't stay in all the time, because that's right when it was just starting to hit with all these gaming consoles. So that was kind of primo and new cutting edge. But we still, because I'm from the BMX bike era also, bicycles was your first transportation and skateboards. So you stayed outside, you played, you flew kites. You did, it was always kind of, playing some type of sports or something. When you went to the beach, if you stayed near a beach, you didn't just go there and sit in the sand. You made a day of it. Like, you bring in your barbecue pit, you got a beach ball, you got a frisbee, you got, it's a whole production that goes into that. And, so those things, yeah, I miss all of that. My era, I got hit, Go ahead.
The drive-in movie.
Yes. Oh, man. Yeah, that was dope, too. The drive-in theaters, man. In some states, they're bringing it back. So I'm glad this generation can get a little taste of that. Certain states, some people are buying some land, and they're trying to bring that back a little bit. Hopefully that works out for them without no violence or nothing like that. But you can't beat that. The drive-in theater was just, oh, man. That's an experience that I explain to my kids a lot, too. And they're like, what? I said, yeah, man, you used to just be able to pull up. You throw your little speaker on your window and, pay for your little ticket or wherever you're at, and they'll have somebody come bring you refreshments and stuff, and you can order little things or walk to the concession stand and things. Man, I'm telling you, it was a different time.
Yeah, back then, sorry about that, it's Marcus. Just wanted to chime in real quick. Hey, you speaking my language right there.
Yeah, brother. Yeah.
Seriously, what the sister was saying, and what you was getting at. That's a time. That was a different time. That's a different time. And these are all things that I remember. I remember all of these things. Penny candy. Come on now.
Yes.
You get $1. You had a girlfriend all day. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. Yeah.
You had friends all day with the bag of penny candy. I say you get $1, man. That was it. Ice cream truck. Running out the ice cream truck. Ice cream. Mama, here comes the ice cream man. And stop and be bad kids out there getting ice cream.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
These are the things I remember from back in the day.
Speak on it.
Here's the thing that I say, right? I think but somehow Tom moved ahead of us because we wanted those things for our next generations.
Right.
I think where we missed it was we didn't do enough to make sure to secure those things for our generations. Because, like you were saying, some people buying land in Jersey right now, right? Now, I remember the last drive-in theater I ever been to in Jersey was down in Hazlitt, somewhere down in there. That theater ain't there no more. That was right off the highway. Okay? Way down the Hazlitt, long way from the bricks. Right? But that was the last drive-in theater I had been to. Now, I remember up here, right here in Brick City, they tried it. They had a drive-in theater right where Zanzibar used to be. That used to be the Bear Stadium. Stadium ain't there no more. There ain't no stadium there no more. It's just a big, open, empty lot. They tried to do a drive-in there. And it was okay, but it wasn't really pushed and promoted the way that it could have been so that it could have been successful. So, they ended that. But I think instead of developers coming in and doing everything, I think that we who live in our cities have enough people for everybody to chip in and let's say just give 100. Just give 100. Out of all these people in North New Jersey, it's that theory saying, what if everybody in the city who is of age put 100 in the kid? That's it. 100. Man, we'd have drive-in theaters. We'd have our bowling alleys again. We'd have our roller skating rinks again. We'd have those summer activities that we used to have again, like the block parties, the barbecues, running through the fire hydrants, the double dutch contest, the hopscotch games going on, the jacks, the marbles, all of that stuff that our kids nowadays don't have no more. They got their faces buried in the device, and they want to be inside. But our parents used to kick us out the house. Get out. Get out the house. Get out. Don't come back in until the street light come on. Right? But I think time kind of moved ahead of us, and what we desired to have, I don't think we kept in tune with it. Because sometimes we got to pay like we weigh. And if we want the things we want, we got to go and seize the day. I can't wait for nobody else to do it. But that's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. I'm gonna get back out there. Thanks.
Yeah, you had a lot of key points, man. Thank you for that, brother. I remember that as well. You brought back one other memory too I didn't touch on. Right around the time 85 hit, those of us that can remember that era, depending on what age you were, breakdancing was hot and heavy. That was another thing we used to do, stay outside. Like when the fair or something come to town, we get some cardboards if you couldn't get your little linoleum together. And one of us would walk around with a hat, and the other ones practice, your little backspins and your moves and all of that. You get your little change up, and that's how we would go by our little concession stand, snacks and goodies and rides and all of that. You just let your little talent kind of pay your admission and stuff in there. Back when you could do that, you get your little crowd going and people gather around you and just good vibes. They like to watch you dance and stuff, and like I say, you make your little change. And sometimes we would do it in movies too, depending on what we wanted to see.
Yeah.
Most of the time it was a lot in the 80s. There was a lot of Shaolin and karate flicks. Bruce Lee was doing this thing hot and heavy then too, so we stayed in the theater a lot with that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh, Master Bruce, Black Belt Theater, all that.
May I be heard?
Saturday afternoon.
Yes, ma'am.
What about the black exploitation films? Coffee, Pam Grier, The Mac. You remember all those?
Yeah.
They're so bad. Oh my God. Oh, that lady was my idol. I'm telling you, when she hit the screen, I was like, whoa. I think we all want to be Pam Grier. I'm telling you. Oh my goodness. All wonderful black exploitation films. I didn't see them as that. As they, people started to kind of pick them. I just thought they were some cool black people just doing their thing, getting back the man.
You know, and I still watch those. You know, you could on some of these platforms you can still look. I just seen her in the Black Mama White Mama the other day.
That was awesome.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah, Black Mama White Mama. I watched Coffee too. Matter of fact, earlier this week. And then you had Fred Williamson, and he was in a lot of things. You had Jim Brown. A lot of these brothers were doing. Three the Hard Way, yeah, all those classics. Those were good. Uptown Saturday Night, you know. Mm-hmm. Cotton Come to Harlem. Watched a lot of those.
Yes.
Sydney was hot and heavy then.
I think it was just great seeing black people because we were looking at a lot of, you remember the good old cartoons we had too?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you guys remember Gigantor?
Yes, I remember that.
Magilla Gorilla.
I was about to say that next. Yep. Yep. That's them Hanna-Barbera films. Magilla Gorilla, Huckleberry Hound, Pink Panther, Mr. Magoo. Yeah.
Yeah, and I grew up on the Monsters. Did anybody remember what was it called? Something Mockingbird Lane. The Monsters. We grew up. See, we had black. We still had a bit of black and white film going there on television. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. I used to watch the Monsters heavily. Matter of fact, the station I watched it on at this particular time, this was the actual lineup. They would show the Monsters, and immediately after that, they would play Happy Days. Then they would show Tonto and the Lone Ranger, and then they would go to Dukes of Hazzard. And depending on what day you was in, they would throw the A-Team in there. Yeah.
Now, was that the cable rundown? Was that the cable rundown? Because, I had an antenna with the little dial where you turn, and it turned the antenna on top of the house.
That's
yeah. Hey, who remember and this when dishes first came out, like them jokers was huge, man. Like you had to have some real bread to own one of these, bro. Like E.T. wouldn't have a problem phoning home with one of them. That's when it first started making satellite dishes. It was about half the size of your roof.
I don't know about the satellite dishes, but I do know I still have a pager.
Yep.
When your girl really wanted you, she put in 911 plus one. Yeah, it was an emergency then.
That's right. I loved my pager, man. I loved mine. That was it. And then they got a little jazzy with it. They started making the little chain that came with it, the little gold chain that clipped to you.
Yeah. See, and then I had a cell phone that was almost as long as my forearm.
The brick phone.
With the battery, on the little hand care and the little handheld thing, and the little case. Yeah.
That's that great brick phone. That's a great brick phone. Yeah, you
out there talking to people before it get activated.
You wasn't the stuff unless you had one in the back in the day, man. Everybody had it. Because the one with the little pouch used to come with a shoulder strap too that you could kind of keep in and out of your car. We'll pull in and out of your car.
I think my first introduction to comedy was Flip Wilson, him playing Geraldine. I think that was like, everybody remember the Flip Wilson show?
I remember that. I was young, but my father watched it a lot. I remember that.
Okay. See, I'm a baby boy.
Yeah, he loved Flip Wilson. Loved him.
Yeah.
Watch him. Yeah.
And Julia. Anybody remember Julia with Diane Carroll?
No.
I saw some of those. My mom used to watch that. I think she made history, didn't she, as like the first black female lead of a TV show? She was a nurse.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I saw it as well.
Okay.
I remember those, yeah.
Good, I'm not the only old one on.
Oh, no. You're young, man. That's all. You just remember the classics. That's all.
We were just raised right. We remember all the good stuff. That's all.
Blame it on the networks, man.
And I just was going like everybody was older than I was, so the music was different. The sounds were different. Like everything was different, crisper, better to me back when we was younger.
I agree.
Talent was
real talent.
Right, talent was off the charts, and the people really sung.
It was you had to sing, you had to be able to dance, you had to be able to act, like you had to be able to do these things. You couldn't just get by off of auto tunes or whatever else. You had to do it.
That's right. Mm-hmm. Do anybody remember Dark Shadows? I hope I'm not reaching. With Barnaby.
Oh, Dark Shadows, the one with the black man and the white guy.
He was a vampire.
Yep.
It was like
I remember Dark Shadows.
I remember that. It had a long volume of series of that too. You can still find those in like today's libraries. I'm talking about. They had a long volume of that. I remember that.
Okay. What about the original black and white Star Trek?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember that one.
Yes, the original. With the black woman who played, she was, I guess, that was the black woman. She played in the original one.
Yes.
It was a sequel, but I remember her, yes. She just recently passed a few years ago. Yes. Very, very.
Now, while we're talking about shows, I'm gonna bring it up just a little bit, not too many years ahead, just a little bit. Who remembers Cagney and Lacey?
Yes.
And
I love Cagney and Lacey.
Mork and Mindy.
Yes.
Mindy, yes.
Yes.
I used to watch a lot of Mork and Mindy.
Yes.
No. Now, we got to go to the classics that every generation. You can't forget Knox Landing in Dallas.
I thought you was talking about some real classics like Gone with the Wind.
Well, you got to have that, too. Steel Magnolias. You can't forget them,
I thought we were talking about classics. What's the other one?
There's different era classics, but that's
different era. You're right, sir. You're right.
The different era classics, those are classic classics, but because it was an actual movie, that wasn't a series. I was speaking more of reference to like TV series, like Love Boat, stuff like that, Solid Gold, American Bandstand, and that.
Yeah. But even though that wasn't a classic movie for us, we watched it.
Right.
We saw Gone with the Wind.
Right.
Every Easter, I was supposed to watch the 10 Commandments.
Yeah.
You gotta watch. I still watch that.
Yeah. Oh, it looks weird now because of technology, but back then it was like, wow.
It was
wow. Yes.
Mm-hmm. But if you're going to do Gone with the Wind, you can't miss out on the Thornbirds.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely
that's right.
Beautiful. And then if you're going to think funny, you can't forget Barney Miller and Maude.
That's right.
Yes.
And Alice, Carol Burnett's show. Little things. Oh, wait. What's it? The Odd Couple.
The Odd Couple.
Yes.
And then, follow Jack Klugman up the line,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh,
that brings back memories.
Marcus Welby. So I've learned my medicine from the TV doctors, and I've done pretty well with it.
What about Dr. Kildare? Does anybody remember him?
Dr. Kildare. My Three Sons.
Yes.
My Sons, Donna Reed.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Leave It to Beaver.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget Dick Van Dyke. Don't forget
the little
Van Dyke.
Little boy.
Van Dyke. Dick Van Dyke was before Carson, so you got to get him in there.
Rhoda.
Rhoda.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Tyler Moore.
That's right.
There you go. Good one. Mary Tyler Moore. Yeah, very good one. Alice, Mel's Diner.
Yeah, I love it from Alice. Yes.
Those were the days.
Okay, let's go little rascals.
Aren't you funny?
All in the Family. The Jeffersons.
All
Sanford and Son.
Yes.
That's my mama.
Oh, yeah.
And what's happening?
What's happening?
That's my mama.
Oh, hold on. Did we get lost in space?
Both of them.
Yes.
What's happening and what's happening now.
Yes.
Lost in Space was awesome.
You guys remember Dragnet?
Yeah. Yeah, love Dragnet. Love Dragnet.
I still listen to that on Everett Radio Classics.
I tell you, one of the best soundtracks to a show was Hawaii Five-0.
Oh, that was good.
They used to throw down on that. They used to throw down on that, man. When it come on, you know that show on. Oh yeah. Yeah.
How can we say all these shows and forget about Sanford and Son?
What about March?
We didn't. Nobody just named it yet, but yeah, that's definitely Sanford and Son.
Yeah.
I said Sanford and Son, All in the Family.
I ain't hear you say Sanford and Son. My daddy used to would fall asleep during the news, and Sanford and Son would come on at 10:30. And if you turned that TV after he had started hearing that music, he would wake up.
Yeah, my father used to love some Sanford and Son. He watched that a lot.
Be hollering about what you do that for. I was watching it.
Yes, that's exactly what he said.
Mine was get out the TV. Your mother wasn't a glass maker. Move.
No, mine was before you had remotes. Hey, come here, and you coming in from outside just to change the channel.
Yes.
That's right. I think we all been there with that one. Yeah.
Yes.
Speaking of TVs, real quick, and we can get back to the TV shows. How many remember? Well, I know that they had different models, but who remember the floor model TV?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, with the record player in the top.
Yeah, that's the one we had. The record player, the microphone, the 8-track, all of it.
Magnavox, Sylvania, and there was another one I think with the
Zenith.
Zenith.
Yeah, Zenith.
The quality goes in before the name goes on.
Oh yeah.
Right.
You know, and you know, I remember a lot about the TVs because, like I said, we were human remotes.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know, when you had a 25-inch color TV on a platform that swiveled, oh, you was top dog in the neighborhood.
That's right. And Ham, what you did when that other one went out? Everybody black should know this answer. What did you do when that other TV went out?
Put that black and white on top of it.
You put that joker right on top of it. That's right. and get them channel locks or them pliers to turn it with a knob break.
There you go. Put that foil on the end of that antenna.
Yes.
Because that's back when they had the rabbit ears. You could connect to the back of it a little bit, too.
See, because I know y'all remember hearing the song Diamond in the Back, Sunroof Top, Digging in the Lean with the Gangsta Lean. I first heard that on an 8-track.
Oh,
wow. Curtis Mayfield.
That's right. First heard that on an 8-track tape.
You what is it? You may not drive a great big Cadillac, right? But be thankful for what you got. Right? Yeah.
Because everybody wanted to be Superfly, Willie D.
Oh yeah.
And all of these cats with the perms and the big fancy cars are what we thought was fancy cars back then.
Well, with the 80-gallon hats. Yeah.
Yes, that was a beautiful
when the only black person doing black movies driving a Rolls Royce was Jim Brown.
That's right.
Mm.
Jim Brown was the only black actor driving a Rolls Royce in a movie.
Mm.
That was also when folks were a little more prideful of their blackness, you know what I'm saying? It was afros or nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
Who remember the pick? I had one. Well, I actually had all of them. I had the rake. I had all of them. The cake cutter pick. But who had the pick that had the little activated spray at the bottom of it?
No comment.
It was, I know I wasn't the only one. It was 2 in 1. You shake that joke in the back, had a little spray nozzle, and you pick out, you know, how you gonna do it. If you're gonna do the puffs or you're gonna rock it regular. You know, everybody can remember having them tiger stripes from the old school hot combs.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Stuff tell you
My mama had a softer grain of hair, so she told me to get the afro like everybody else. She had to wash her hair in laundry detergent to get it hard enough to pick out to be a fro.
Oh wow!
So she had to have her afro.
I got a question for everybody on the line.
Yeah.
What was the name of the tennis shoes that when your mama bought them, the toe of them was already turned up?
Bobos?
Chuck Taylors.
Well, you got Chuck Taylors, you got PF Flyers, you got you know, you had Pro Kids, you had Bobos, you had who else?
We called them buddies.
Well, that's what we call Bobos, but they were buddies, or Buster Browns.
We called them buddies. Yeah. The toes of the shoes were already turned up when you took them out the box. In fact, they didn't even come in the box. A string tied them together.
That's it. Yeah. That same string that you threw on that street line when you outgrew them.
Yeah, string tied them together. That's how they come out the store, in a bag, not in a box.
Mm-hmm.
How did everybody feel when Soul Train came to your television set? How did you feel? I was like, wow, finally. I just can't tell you. Oh.
I was ready for Soul Train because I was watching the midnight special on Friday and Saturday nights.
Right.
Wolfman Jack.
Wolfman Jack.
Wow.
So when Soul Train came along, I was like, now I got something to watch during the day.
Okay.
For real. Soul Train gave American Bandstand a run for their money. That was something for us.
There you go.
That's right. I watched them both. Soul Train would come on first, then Solid Gold came on after that.
Yes.
Yes.
With the Solid Gold dancers.
Actually, it went in that order. Soul Train, then Solid Gold, and then Fame came on. You watch Fame.
Now, Soul Train came on Saturday mornings for us here.
Yes, at 11.
So you watch, at 11. You watch all your cartoons. You watch your Fat Albert, and then right after Fat Albert,
I'll wait on somebody to say it, man. I'll wait on somebody to say it. Old Fat Albert.
Old Fat Albert.
But there was always a lesson to learn in watching Fat Albert.
Yes, that's
right. In every cartoon in that time, before they went off, they gave you a little knowledge and told you about the lessons in the cartoon. Man, it was good, man. Those were crazy.
Do you remember
Because I remember one of my favorite cartoons was Samson and Goliath.
Yeah, mine's too.
That's a good one. Yeah.
And Sinbad.
That used to make me want a lion.
Sinbad had that magic belt he'd pull tight and get his powers. And I think Samson and Goliath, didn't he have the bracelets
he had the
bracelets?
Together? Yeah.
He had a magic bracelet.
And give the lion an afro.
Right.
Remember HR Puff stuff?
First black superhero that we had, now that we think back, she just said it, was the Brown Hornet on Fat Albert.
Yep.
Yeah.
The Brown Hornet.
Yeah, the Brown Hornet. Brother with a fro was solving crime, man.
Mm-hmm.
But now, how many of you all used to take your mama's ice trays and dump the ice out and fill them full of Kool-Aid and stick a toothpick in them, put them in the freezer?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I caught many a whippings for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's right. That's right.
The one thing I can appreciate in this era is that when we used to watch those programs, we had to be there. It wouldn't be no recording or you can you catch it later. That was it. You know?
Yep.
Yes, ma'am.
That was it.
Yes,
There was no play or anything like that. You watched that, and that was even with the movies. The movies would come in, and they would go. It wouldn't be they would be coming to the television set or that was it. So if you wasn't there at that moment, you lost. It was a wrap.
Yes, ma'am. They didn't have no TV guys, no none of that. That you had to wait 20 years for a rerun, like if the show got syndicated or something, you know.
Yes.
Yeah. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. Wow.
Well, how many of you all have ever been hit where the color came off you?
Oh no. Be hard for me for that.
That's a hard beating, brother.
My mama used to tell me she'd slap the black off of me. I've been hit a lot, but it ain't left yet.
Why you think I'm the color I am today?
For those that have not seen Angela, or I've never met her, she's a very fair-skinned young lady.
So what you trying to say, Angela? Your mama put the pimp hand down on you?
The pimp hand, the pimp slipper, the pimp hanger, whatever you wanted to call it. I was a very mischievous only child. And she didn't spoil the rod at all. And I appreciated her for that.
Yeah.
Now, but back
Angela
then,
was she's a very fair-skinned young lady. She could pass for a Caucasian, so you must have got a lot of beatings, buddy.
Watch it now. Watch it. I'm not that light.
She must have got.
Watch it.
She must have got beat. She must have got beat with a bleach stick.
Well, see, my dad didn't believe in beatings. My dad didn't believe in whippings at all. He believed that you needed to have things taken away from you because he said if you caught a whipping, it would hurt for a little while. But if you take stuff away, it made a bigger impression. However, my mother believed in whipping my tail. So I would do stuff in front of my daddy, and she would say, if it be midnight tonight, he gonna leave, and I'm gonna get you. So I had many a whippings out of my sleep.
Oh, I've been there before.
Yeah.
And it's weird when it's happening because you trying to. It's weird when it's happening because you're wondering why your dream is hurting.
Exactly.
You wonder why your dream is hurting until you wake up. Yeah, until you wake up out of it, and that sting is real, boy.
Well, I got a question for all of y'all.
Yeah.
How did you get your cassette tapes? Did you buy them or did you record it off the radio?
Now, brother, both. You know we done done it both, bro.
Both.
Especially on the weekends. Like I know those in Jersey can relate. On the weekends, we always had a DJ that did like a remix hour. He would just take certain songs and mix them up real good and whatnot. So what I would do, there was two ways to do it. You could take that piece of tape, cover over them two open ends in the back, record over what you had, or you can wet some paper towel or something to fill them two holes in on the bottom. Put it in there, and, now the tape got Bobby Brown on it. That's what the wording say, but you got all this other stuff on there. Record over like that. I did it both ways.
Yeah, I always recorded on mine.
Yep, I did it both ways.
That was also when cassette tapes, you listened to the whole tape. You didn't skip over the songs because the songs were all so good. You listened to all of them.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
And that came from the 8-track era. You used to be able to just put an 8-track on and let it play through.
Yeah.
They brought that same concept.
8-track in her car.
8-track in the car.
Yeah, sometimes the best car rides when we would travel from Louisiana to Chicago, it would be the 8-tracks, and they would just keep putting them in there every so often, and we just listen to 8-tracks all the way to Chicago.
Right.
And for them long road trips like that, somebody fried a whole bunch of chicken. We had a loaf of bread. We had some other stuff, so we really didn't need to stop.
Yeah. And the sodas were put in the freezer the night before and wrapped up in aluminum foil so they would stay cold longer. Yeah.
I was about to say, how'd you wrap the chicken up to keep it hot? You throw it in that foil.
And I was I love
and everybody can relate to this. Who remembers the canary yellow? They called the color avocado, but it was canary yellow, the green, and like that burgundy type of Tupperware.
No. You got me there.
Yeah, so much Tupperware.
It was the Tupperware, the plastic when it first came out, the Tupperware.
Yeah, the snap lock.
The snap locks, the one that everybody kept the potato salad in and all that.
We had all of it. My mama used to sell Tupperware, so I remember Tupperware from a long time.
Yeah, my mom did too.
Yeah, my mama used to sell Avon.
Yeah.
Mine was a hot, but she sold Avon before too.
Man, we kept some skin so soft at the house.
Oh yeah, and that's the best thing even today for mosquito repellent.
That's right, and just to stay moisturized.
What's that? What's good for mosquitoes?
Skin so soft.
Skin so soft from Avon.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, skin so soft. Oh yeah.
That is the best form of mosquito repellent even today.
Right.
I used to believe that until I went on a Girl Scout camping trip, and we had skin so soft, and they ate our butts up.
Well, that's because you was light-skinned. You were glowing.
There you go.
You
couldn't hide from them. You were glowing.
No,
you know we love you, Andrew.
That's because I'm so sweet. That's why they were attacked.
Yeah.
No, that was the skin so soft.
Caramel is sweet. That's why they was eating on you, man. Tearing you up. I'll tell you the largest mosquitoes I've seen in my life was down here. These things look like vampire bats, man. The Louisiana mosquitoes been in the back part of the gym lifting the heavyweights.
Yeah, these Louisiana mosquitoes got bulletproof vests, red goggles.
And 401k.
They can't kill them with raid. They take showers in raid.
This thing's big, man.
How many of y'all remember back in the day?
Huh?
How many of y'all remember back in the day when Muhammad Ali had his own cartoon show and he used to do commercials? I think it was either Pecan or Black Flag or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
I remember the Black Flag commercial. Yeah, I remember those.
Yeah.
Well, how many of you remember Morgan Freeman being on Sesame Street?
I remember that.
Definitely. Yeah.
I remember that. how many of my daytime soap opera watchers remember when the brother with the cornrows, Jesse, was on General Hospital?
General Hospital, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I
He
wonder
married Angie.
Yeah.
How many of you remember? Like sand through the hourglass.
Through the hourglass.
Those are the days of our lives.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah,
As
trust
the world,
me, I knew the lineup.
As the world
Come in
turns.
to change the channel.
As the world turns.
Yep.
5, 7, 9, and 12.
Yes, indeed. I didn't go to daycare. I had a lady that kept me at home. She kept a lot of kids. You know, she had like her own little daycare at her house. And she was a friend of my mama's. So I knew all the soap operas from little.
Okay.
Because that would be the time that we'd have to sit down, eat lunch, and take a nap. And I didn't like taking naps. So
Yeah, that was their time to get some air. Yeah.
Didn't like taking a nap then and be begging for a nap now.
Okay. We're trying to find a way to get somebody, and I'm not going to name their name even though they're on this call right now, woke me up out of a good nap while I was in the middle of a meeting today. Just messed me up.
I don't know who that was. It wasn't me.
They know who they are.
Are they chuckling?
No, they on mute. They don't want to say that.
Oh.
What?
Maybe they were praying you wouldn't bring that up. and then she had the nerve to say, "It looked like you were asleep." I was. And she heard the meeting going on in the background. The person that was talking, he had such a calm, monotone voice. I was just,
Oh.
I was just
knock it off. Wow. Oh, man. Next, I guess I was on the Wheatie box also, huh?
I wasn't talking about you.
I ain't say you was.
Oh, man. Remember when they had real athletes on the Wheatie box?
Yes. Too.
When Bruce was still Bruce Jenner and he was on the Wheatie box?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had just won the decathlon.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, and no one did it like that since. That's when they had true athletes. Like you had Bruce, you had who's the one for USA? Mary Lou Retton. Nadia Comaneci was doing her thing too. She was holding Russia down. I mean, we had real athletes.
Yeah.
Well, look
Carl Lewis was on the box. Jordan was on the box. Speaking of Wheaties, those were the two things that I remember was Wheaties and Jet Magazine.
We know why you like to get back.
I got it. Hey, how many of you all remember where BET started at?
Knock it off, Angie. Well, don't worry about the Beauty of the Week on page 42. But I remember that. Hemp. I remember.
Where did it start at? It was Wheeler Avenue in Alexandria, Virginia.
Wow.
Virginia, okay. I wanted to say Delaware. I wanted to say Delaware, but it's Virginia. That's the state threw me off.
Yeah. It was Wheeler Avenue in Alexandria, Virginia. I had the pleasure of actually meeting Donnie Simpson.
Okay.
Dr. Green.
That was it, man. Video soul. I like Sharon Carter.
Yes, that's right. Video soul.
Video soul, man.
Video.
I got Donnie
Simpson. You're
unseen ladies with some eyes.
Yeah, because he was a dark-complected brother with hazel-colored eyes.
That's
His eyes were green.
And he was short.
Very.
That was a little
dude. But part of his charm was, again, like you said, he's a chocolate brother with green eyes. He had waves, and he was very well spoken and articulate.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Sherry Carter, who co-host with him. I enjoyed that show. Video Soul was nice. I liked Video Soul.
Wow, Video Soul. Oh, my goodness.
That's when we used to be able to watch black videos and not have to just watch the MTV hard rock videos all the time.
Exactly.
But, I mean, I did like a little White Snake and Bon Jovi every now and then.
Right. Def Leppard, ACDC.
Was it Poisonous?
Who?
The White Snake.
Poison?
Oh, the band Poison was awesome, but the White Snake wasn't poisonous. Nah.
Oh,
no.
They were actually a good band. White Snake was awesome.
Yeah.
Poison rocked. I did a little bit of ACDC. I love Def Leppard. And I used to listen to a lot of Meatloaf, too. Meatloaf was good to me.
Yeah, I did listen to a lot of videos.
He's very creative with his videos, because back then it was about the video.
Yeah. I think that was another thing about that era. Like, at least for me, even though, I knew who I was and I knew how the world perceived me to be, like, we really didn't, like, we had friends of all colors. Like, it wasn't a big thing for me to have white friends. Like, my mama had white friends. So, for me, it was never a big deal. My friends were my friends. It didn't matter what color we were.
Right.
And we watched all the same kind of videos and shows and stuff like that.
That's right. Because it was in those days in those days it was just a true community, like you said, of everybody. You had
some of my best friends are white.
Right. And mine.
Yeah.
And to this day, we're still friends with each other.
They don't know no better.
There you go. No. You stupid.
What part of the country is this program airing from? I mean, where you call? Yeah, because I'm not, like I said, I'm the East Coast of New Jersey. So what part?
Oh,
we're
out of Louisiana. Yes, ma'am. We're out of Louisiana.
Oh, Louisiana. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. We're out of Louisiana.
That's why you hear that girl sounding that funny tone over there, yeah.
Yes.
I don't have a funny tone. Stop it.
Yeah, that's her right now. That's her.
But, ma'am, I want to officially again say welcome to our podcast, and I really hope that this is not your last time. We welcome you to come back any Wednesday and participate.
Yeah, because she talk like that all the time.
When I get to talking like that, you're going to be in trouble, so I'm going to be nice.
Yeah, but she's supposed to be educated, yeah.
Okay, so for those that haven't caught it, what Hamp is teasing her on, Angela is true Louisianian. She's an actual Creole Cajun woman. She's very fair-skinned. We ain't going to say high yellow, we'll say fair-skinned. So he's joking with her about that. So when she gets into that...
Butter is dark compared to her.
Yeah, when she gets into that action, it's real thick. And it's usually when she start be bad-mouthing him because he like to pick with him.
I technically am not yellow. I'm red because I have a lot of Native Americans.
Like I said,
right.
Butter is darker than her.
But he looked like a struck match, so we ain't gonna do that.
That's right.
We'll talk after the podcast, Hamp. We'll talk after the podcast.
Because you know black is beautiful, yeah, baby. They knew that back in the 60s.
But like she said, though, ma'am, yeah, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Please don't be a stranger, You guys are tuning in from Brick City up there in Jersey Town, man. We like that. We like to get everybody from different areas to just kind of come, fellowship with us and hang out and have a little fun. That's awesome.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed it.
Please come back. Tell your friends. Let them know. Everybody.
I sure am. You know, I definitely am. Something just told me to, you know, turn on to the station. And when I heard, I'm so sorry and condolences to that person who was sick or who's in the hospital. I pray that he you know, comes better. And just glad that I tuned in and brought back a lot of good old memories. I can go to sleep with some good old memories, thinking of all, you know, it's a good thing. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Definitely. Please come back to your friends. We do this every Wednesday from 8:30 to 10 p.m. We're usually the last show that comes on, so there are other shows on the network prior to us that you can tune in and listen to as well.
At this time, it is 9:57. So, been saying that, if there are anyone on the line who has a show, please announce yourself. Tell us what time your show come on and the name of your show.
Good evening. Thank you very much. That would be Yvonne with Company, Talk Worth Listening to, Mondays, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And this show has been a lot of fun. That's 2 weeks in a row. I've had a great time. Of fun. I mean, always good conversation with you guys and ladies. But last week was so great for me because I got a chance to just hush and listen because I knew nothing about what you were talking about in that hip-hop.
Oh, wow.
Oh, no, I know nothing about the hip-hop. I mean, I know a few of the artists, but I'm telling you, it was like you all were on the playground, and I was just, you know, I didn't even have to referee, just watch. But tonight was a lot of fun, back down memory lane. Oh, there we go. Okay, go ahead now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Marcus. This is Marcus.
Go ahead.
Brother Mark.
I'm a co-host with Adrian on Friday nights. Can we talk with Adrian at 6 o'clock on the network? My show comes on every third Friday, so I co-host that time, and I talk about paradigm shifts, and right now we're focusing on neighborhood improvements, initiatives, and restorations. So that's where I am every third Friday of the month. Can we talk with Adrian? Marcus, I co-host that time from 6 to 7:30. So if you're on, definitely tune in and meet us in the boardroom. We'll be sitting there waiting.
Awesome.
Thank you. Anyone else? Well, it is 10 o'clock, and I would like to thank our gracious host because I didn't have to do nothing tonight but join in. Thank you, Andre.
Yeah, no doubt, brother.
And before I get off the line, I do have a question to ask those that are on the East Coast. Has anybody heard from Dr. James?
Yes. Well, how's the doc doing?
Dr. James.
Go ahead, Marcus.
Dr. James passed.
Hey, what?
Had his, passed away, I believe it was Friday.
Wow.
They had his service, I believe, today.
So sorry to hear that, man.
For real?
So sorry to hear that.
Wow. We didn't know.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Letting us know.
I'm sorry. So I sent the text out. Whose number do we have, though? Because I sent it out. Who's in the group text from CCC?
Everett.
Oh, okay.
Gentleman, yeah. The one that's sick right now. The one that's usually on top of that.
So I sent the text out. Yeah, we heard on Sunday, and the service was today. It was really beautiful. And from what I'm understanding, Forrest and Carol are working on putting together a tribute to him on the network. And I shared it with his daughter. I shared it on the because the service was live streamed today. So I shared it with him, and his daughter responded that she definitely wants to be involved. So I'm not sure exactly what they're going to do, but yeah, he was an exceptional. I mean, we saw and heard him as we did, but boy, at that service, the things you heard about that young man from the time he was a young man. He was all of that, 2 bags of chips, a grape soda, and a basketball.
All right, Doc. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And all the best to Everett. You know, I hope everything works out favorable with him.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely.
I'll be sure to let him know. I'm going to try to get up there tomorrow if they let us in. But the time I have is 10:02. And if there are no other questions, concerns, or statements, announcements.
Great show, great topic. Thank you again for being here. I love tuning in with you guys. Thank you.
Thank you for tuning in.
Roger that, King. Good looking out, man. Come back. Hang out with us.
Definitely.
And with that being said,
all right, good night.
There are no other questions, concerns, or statements. We now bid you a blessed night. Good night, everybody.